Hi, we're the Huge Movie Fanatics here, and we are going to do a review of a movie called Shark Night, or Shark Night 3D if you're stupid.
If you're stupid.
If you saw it in the theater, I should say. Ever since I saw Jaws, I've been a fan of shark attack movies, and there's an excellent one called Raging Sharks. It's fabulous. See it. It's so bad. So I saw the previews to this movie last summer, and I was like, this is going to be the best bad movie ever. And as it turns out, it's just a really bad movie. I'm going to give Shark Night. That is the title, right? Shark Night. You get them all confused.
Raging Shark Night.
Shark Night. I'm going to give it half a star. The performances are so bad, with the exception of one. There's one person I really liked, and it was the brunette from American Idol. What's her name?
I wouldn't know.
Oh God, she's on that TV show Smash. She's really actually quite good. Katharine McPhee. That's her name. Katharine McPhee. She's good in the movie. The performances are like a joke. The cinematography is like the sort of like overblown color goofiness. The premise is just so like ridiculous. And I'm curious what your take on it is. I'm going to spoil it a little bit. It's about
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. It's about a bunch of hicks basically that live in this saltwater lake who introduce a bunch of sharks into their lake. I think they say they introduce 4 sharks. But then some of the species that you actually see on screen, if you know anything about sharks, aren't any of the 4 that they mention. And so one of them looks really scary. Isn't even deadly. It's not even man-eater. So.
Well, they gotta throw a scary one in there to scare us.
Yeah. So anyway, it's about these hicks who live there, and they basically got the idea from seeing Faces of Death, which is an '80s schlock movie, I kind of liked that aspect of the story just because it was so stupid.
Well, the thing is, the movie was just trudging along like, God damn, this is just stupid. And then you're right, when we find out that this guy, they're the reason, and the motive, it's like, that's so stupid, that's so kind of cool.
Yeah, it's so stupid, it makes you kind of admire the filmmakers for coming up with some really bullshit reason.
Because usually it's just like the experiment gone bad, and no one intended it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they just intended it. They're sitting around watching Faces of Death, you know, and they're like, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's put some sharks in that salt lake over there, and then we'll kill people." Yeah, and then didn't they videotape it?
Yeah, they videotaped it because they're going to compile a movie, and like that aspect I liked. Ultimately the premise of the movie. Had it been done better by a competent filmmaker, I think this movie could have panned out.
More than it did.
Much more than it did. But it just was such, as you said, it just trudged along, and it was such a lazy movie through most of it. And like the opening scene, isn't that where like a guy and a girl? I saw this like a month ago, and I hardly remember. A guy and a girl are going in there, and then you see her legs, and then the thing ends up eating her. I wanted so badly for them to do something unique and innovative, and like when the girl's swimming there and the guy's like, "I'll be right back," and goes back like into the cabin. I really wanted a shark to just come out and have it be about a land shark or something like that,
or Sharktopus.
Yeah, like just something. Give me something unique. It was just such.
And what did we maybe just saw her get pulled under or something?
Yeah.
I don't even.
I mean, it was PG-13.
I know. That's another thing.
I mean, I guess like the Jaws movies are PG-13, but at least you saw stuff. This didn't really.
Yeah, I know.
Like you saw more in Jaws than you did in this.
I know.
So what's your take? I give it a half.
My take is I actually found it on Blu-ray, half-price books for, well, I paid more than I should have, but it was a lot less. It was like a third of the new prep. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it, you know. And I mean the DVD is like 20, so I got the Blu-ray for 10. I mean that doesn't break the bank. So I'm like, oh cool, you know, because I wasn't gonna pay 20 or 30 to see it.
No.
And I'm like, so I got it and I put it in, and I'm like, you know, and it was just like you said. I mean, the very beginning, you know, you want to try to catch people at the beginning, you know, engage them at the beginning, and it's like did the opposite. It's like You know, I mean,
it's like I was like, do I really even want to finish watching this at this point?
well, I was too, and then by the time, and that's then you get like 2/3 into it, and that's when you find out, and then that's when it becomes a little more fun.
Yeah.
When you find out about the Hicks, the reason for this stuff happening, but all you know, the first 2/3 of the movie are just like
There's such garbage.
and it's just like that the old same old shit, you know, the college, you know, throw the football and catch it, and hey man, I'm going over to the, we're going to whoever her name is,
Yeah.
you know, and it's just, I think they have that like that, did it win it, you know, that's like the scene from Matrix Reloaded on the highway,
Yeah.
but it's that same kind of whatever techno kind of
Yeah.
shit that, you know, when the kids are like doing it. I'm gonna go 1.5. The half is only for that shot, which I did go, wow, that's cool. The only bit of imagination, you probably don't even remember it. And the guy's on the jet ski, and the shark, here's the guy in the jet ski, and the shark jumps out of the water, bites the guy and lands back in. That's the only reason I'm gonna go 1.5. Otherwise, it'd just be 1, which is generally my lowest, unless it's paranormal, one of the paranormal movies. So I'm gonna go 1.5. I thought it was just so stupid. I mean, because you know, girls is always great, even if they're in bikinis. I thought it was so stupid that there's like, which is in the trailer also. This like, oh, we're gonna, you know, it's PG-13 and we're gonna take off our tops, and you know, so you see our bare backs. Oh God, that's so sexy. And I just thought. It's funny because the studio's like, all right, well maybe we'll get more people, you know, more people. Well, more people can buy tickets if it's PG-13. But the thing is, who's going to want to go see a movie about? The only good things about it are going to be tits and gore. If it's PG-13, you take away all this, you know, some of the main reason to see it by being PG-13. And I couldn't believe it when, like, because I didn't even know about the movie until you mentioned it, and then I researched it because we were talking about the Innkeepers.
Oh yeah.
And her being in it and stuff like that, and I didn't even believe it. So, and then I'm like, PG-13 short movie.
Yeah, what's the point?
What? And I have to agree with you because I'm the exact same way. I have a whole shelf full of whatever, Shark Attack, Murder at Shark, you know, Shark. There's one called Hammerhead. Do you have that? Have you seen
I
that?
haven't seen Hammerhead.
That's really not a shark. I don't even remember what that is. But I have a whole row of direct-to-video Shark Attack movie. There's this one called, have you seen this? Have you seen this? It's called Dark Water or something. It's hilarious. It's got shoot, I can't remember his name now, but he was a pretty boy like in Knots Landing or something like that. But he's in a lot of these direct-to-video movies. He was in Alien 3000. Have you seen that? That's just a horrendous movie. God, I can't remember his name, but he's in it. There's a scene at the beginning of this is kind of going off topic, but Dark Water at the beginning, which is it's underwater. I've never seen this before, or at least if I have, I didn't know I saw it. Which is it's supposed to be underwater. It's shot dry for wet. We've heard of day for night, but this is shot dry for wet, and people are just like, it's supposed to be underwater. Awesome. You got to see Dark Water, I think it's called, or something. Dark Water.
That is awesome.
And they're just, there might be more than one dry for wet scene in it.
I've seen dry for wet used before. Like they actually use it in the Lord of the Rings pretty effectively. I didn't know that it was dry for wet, but that's when you have a budget.
Yeah.
Like when you don't have a budget, that's hysterical.
I know, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's just like, the whole idea of making a movie where you have no means to do it whatsoever.
You can't, I'm sure they just didn't have an underwater camera. I think that's probably the problem. They're like, shit, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, you're right. But anyway, there's so many fun, stupid, and there's one last year called The Reef too, as well, which is kind of stupid. I saw some of that, and it's, you know, it's like, again, it's just like everything else. It's stupid. But this one, for the most part, is mostly not even enjoyably stupid until, like I said, we find out about the Hicks and the motivation. So. Now that you found out what did you think? What I thought compared to what you thought? I think.
Well, I remember that you mentioned Faces of Death like a long time ago, and that if memory serves, you weren't a fan of.
Oh, I'm not particularly a fan of it.
No, and nor am I. But I was just like, that motive is so unique and interesting. I wonder what you would think of that, just because it's something that you've never even thought of before, and. So I was wondering how your take on it would be. And it was pretty much the same as mine. Like, hey, that was cool. Now I'm bored again.
Right, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it's only 88 minutes or something like that, and it
but
feels like 4 hours.
I know, isn't that something?
Oh man.
So there you are, Shark Night. What a title! What a forgettable title, Shark Night.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure there had to be a better working title. Like, I mean, even Raging Sharks is an awesome title. Like,
Or Night Shark. I mean, anything is better than Shark Night.
Shark Night. What did that even mean? It was
I
was predominantly in the day. There wasn't really many night shots. And the climax is in the day, right?
Yeah, I think so. One thing I almost forgot to mention, which I wanted to mention, is at the very end, the girl, the innkeeper's girl, what's her name?
Sarah Paxson.
She's in this cage being held hostage by the ex-boyfriend, and I swear there's this opening in it that she could. I mean, anyone could probably just slip right through.
Oh yeah,
I mean, she's probably like, I don't know, 10 inches wide.
Yeah,
like she's
a very small person.
And this whole, and it's it's on the top of all four sides probably of the cage where to reach in or
I thought that too. I was like, she could slip right through that.
Yeah, I had to mention that. I'm sure she could slip, and they're probably thinking that when they were filming that too. Like, God, you can go right through there.
Is there commentary? You should get to that scene and see if they say that.
I don't know.
I'm never putting that in my Blu-ray again.
Yeah, I don't know if there's commentary or not, but I'm sure she can slip through that. I'm sure I could slip through there.
Yeah.
So, give me a break.
Man.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. Catch you later.